gain. They had cheated people. They were dishonest, greedy, and they were just plain corrupted. So a spiritual and religious man like Jesus would never rub shoulders with a man like that. Or so they thought. You see, Jesus once said, "I'm here inviting outsiders, not insiders, to a changed life." Changed inside and out. Jesus did not come to invite the people that think they have it all together. Rather, he invites those who know they need him, who are desiring to have a relationship with him. People like Zacchaeus who wanted to see who Jesus was. Those are the people that God desires to have a relationship. So maybe you're like Zacchaeus, wondering why Jesus wanted to meet with me. You say, I'm not perfect. I'm not spiritual enough. I'm not a religious person. I don't have it all together. God would never want to meet with me. But you're exactly the person that God is desiring to have a lasting relationship with. Jesus wants to come to your house today. He is inviting you to welcome him. Are you going to welcome him? Because if you are, get ready for a lasting relationship that will change your life. Which brings me to this final element in the story that we notice. It is this new relationship changes Zacchaeus' life. When you welcome Jesus into your house, into your life, it changes you. It's that simple. Now, for Zacchaeus, we notice a very drastic change. In verse 8, it says, "But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, 'Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor. And if I've cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount.'" After welcoming Jesus into his life, Zacchaeus changed his life in exactly the area where he had wronged others. He had cheated people out of money, but he decided to pay them back. Not 2 times like the law required, but 4 times. And then he decided to pay money back to the poor. Half of his possessions he sold and gave money to the poor. Now, if you'd been one of those people murmuring under your breath that he was a sinner, I think it'd be really hard to be calling him a sinner after that. And if you'd been one of those people that he had wronged out of money, it'd be pretty hard to say, "Oh, he's that same tax collector he was last week, cheating people out of their money." I mean, not when someone's paying you back. You don't do that. Usually, our life changes, but maybe not necessarily in a so drastic way. Sometimes it will be gradual, but I will have to say this. You will notice a difference when you invite Jesus in to your life. When I was 4, I accepted Jesus into my life. Now, I had gone to church my entire life up to that point, and still to this day. And at Sunday school, they had been teaching me all the things about Jesus that perhaps you've heard or perhaps you haven't. But they told me Jesus had died for my sins, and all the things that I had done wrong, he could forgive them and wipe them slate. I could have a clean new slate, a new life. And they said that in this new life, that I would have the best friend who would never leave me. I was like, okay, cool. I get yelled at by my parents, I can ask for forgiveness. That sounds pretty cool. I can have a new best friend. Oh, that sounds awesome. I like friends. I have one that will never leave me. Sounds pretty awesome. So I went home after church one day, and they talked to me about inviting Jesus into my life. And I was like thinking about that. So I asked my mom. I said, "Mom, will you help me ask Jesus into my heart?" And she could probably tell you the story in more detail. But the one thing I distinctly remember to this day about that afternoon is that after I invited Jesus into my heart, after he became my new best friend, I had this feeling that just overwhelmed me. I had this feeling that I would never, ever be alone again. And that really, really brought like a feeling into my heart, I guess you'd say, as a 4-year-old, who just realized that this is going to be really awesome. This is going to be an amazing friendship that I'm going to have. The difference in my life at that time was that I knew I would never be alone. Now, have I always felt that way? No. In fact, I think even Jesus, right before his death, even felt alone. But when I have those feelings maybe of being alone, I start to remember God's promises. He says, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. And it's those promises that ring true. And because of the relationship I have with him, I know that those promises that he makes, that he will follow through on them. Because his relationship with me is evident in that time and time again when he has come through in my life. In a few minutes, I'm going to say a prayer, just a dialogue with God. And if you're ready to welcome Jesus into your life, then I'll ask you to join in the prayer with me. I would like to leave you with this last thought about what Jesus said this relationship, this new life with him would mean. He said, I have come that they may have life and have it to the fullest. When you seek after God, much like Zacchaeus did, you receive that relationship God desires to have with you, much like Zacchaeus invited Jesus into his house, then God shows you how you should live your life in a way that doesn't wrong others and that brings fulfillment and joy to your life in the fullest sense, much like the way Zacchaeus' life changed after he invited Jesus into his life. Now, I want everyone to close their eyes. We do this out of honor and respect for who God is, so that we can focus on him. If you're ready to respond to Jesus' invitation into your life, I would like you to repeat this prayer after me. Jesus, I know I'm not perfect. I know I've acted wrong in my life, but I want to know you. I want to see you. Since you want to have a relationship with me, I welcome you into my life. Help me change where I have been wrong. Guide my actions. As I seek you, show me how I should live my life. I want to live life as you have called me to live it. Not on my own anymore, but in the fullest sense. In your mighty name, amen.
Amen.